to change a lot of things in the way we do business, the way we live our lives, the way that we look at each other. And I think that this virtual Democratic convention is exactly what is needed. One, it shows that we really care about the well-being of every delegate. Two, it's an exciting list of people to come forward with a message around change. And then the final thing I say is that it's just great to have Vice President Biden and Senator Harris on the Democratic ticket.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that Biden-Harris ticket. I know that you've been a big champion for women in leadership roles, obviously you being the mayor of Charlotte, and also for women of color being in leadership roles. And tell us about your thoughts on the Biden-Harris ticket.
You know, for me, I think that you can't quantify what it means to have an African-American mixed racial woman at the very top of a ticket to lead a country like ours. And so to have Senator Harris just move through all of the spaces that she's going to until November the 3rd is an opportunity for women to see true leadership, for women of color, and especially girls of color, to have aspirational values and aspirational thoughts around what we can do in this country. It's time. I mean, it was just the right time for a woman and the right time for Kamala Harris.
Mayor, the RNC starts in Charlotte next week. Is the city ready? What are you confident about? And what are your concerns most right now?
You know, I've gained a lot of confidence from the work that the RNC has put into the pandemic studies and the agreement that we have that they will follow the rules set forth by both our state health director, our local health director, and as well their expert who is an expert out of Homeland Security. So I feel that we've done the right thing. We have made sure that wellness and health are at the forefront of the RNC. It's really, I think the other part that I'm really happy is that we'll have the opportunity to showcase our city. That was our intent all along when we recruited the convention, the RNC. We wanted to be known as a city that could host both a Democratic and a Republican convention, even in the last several years. And I think we're going to achieve that. I really have faith and confidence that our community will welcome the RNC, that they'll come in and they'll have their rules meeting, they'll make their nomination, and we'll then move forward to the real debates.
Well, what are you most concerned about? And that also leads to this question, too. I think the protests and supporters of President Trump are expected to be in Charlotte next week. What plans do you have to ensure that they don't get out of hand like we've seen in other cities? And also, will people be safe?
This is the way. I think that, again, using our experience from 2012, you have to remember we had the Wall Street movement then, and there were a lot of protests in town. Our chief, Johnny Jennings, was a part of that 2012 effort, working with Homeland Security, the Secret Service, and CMPD, and the many other officers that will join us from the region. I feel very confident that we have a good plan. And it's a plan that they have worked with for over 2 years to make sure that they feel that they have the right tools and the right people to maintain safety.
I got to ask you also about Charlotte City Council now has 3 council members under investigation. Tariq Bakari now today, along with Smudgy Mitchell and Dimple Ajmera. Any comment you can make on that? And what concerns do you have about governing the city moving forward?
You know, I think COVID has had an impact on our council as a whole, where we would have conversations and the ability to have a dialogue sitting around the dais. The public could see us, but we had to stand before the public, and each one of us had to stand for what we say. When we're having meetings that are very much in terms of I'm sitting in my space and you're sitting in your space, we're not having the dialogue that we used to have. And I think a large part of this idea of ethics has come from the disconnect that we've had with each other. And I hope that we resolve that quickly, that we move forward. We'll look at our ethics policy. We're going to follow through with what we have and look for ways that we need to change it and improve it.
Another question about the election. President Trump continues to attack mail-in voting. Do you have a comment on that? And what assurances can you give the people of Charlotte about having a free and fair election?
You know, I have to say, our Board of Elections has done such a great job. They've always been top-notch professional. And I'm encouraged because this year we'll not only have the Spectrum Arena and the Bank of America Stadium open for early voting that will allow for social distancing. But if people have genuine concerns, they should go ahead and get that mail-in ballot and really try to do it sooner and earlier. And I think between those two areas of allowing for more voting spaces that allow for social distancing, allowing for mail-in voting, and then the day of voting, I think Charlotte and North Carolina will do well. And I expect it will be blue November 3rd.
And say that again. I'm sorry. You expected what will be November 3rd? Blue?
I expect North Carolina to be blue November the 3rd.
Okay. Do you have any, are you doing anything this week with the Democratic National Convention? Do you have any role? Are you speaking at any time?
I am really supportive of the ticket. I've been a Democrat my lifelong time, and as a political person, I've always stood for those democratic values. So as long as we continue to work through what we believe is taking care of people and building back our economy with an eye towards racial equity and climate change, I'm fine with just working in the wings.